Alright, how's it going everyone? Welcome to my first place Archfiend Centur-ion deck profile. As many of you know, we got a couple new cards since the last time I did this on my cameraman Spanko's channel. So we got a lot of new updates and we're going to show off a list. I'm just going to get right into the deck profile and I'll explain some cards along the way. Alright, so starting off our list, we have 3 copies of Soul Resonator. This is our primary 1-card combo of the deck, and as a result, we're going to try and run as many copies of it as possible, such as 3 Crimson Gaia, 3 Resonator Call, as well as 3 Stone Sweeper. And this is the max count of possible searchers for this card because we're trying to avoid seeing certain engine requirements in our hand. So we're maxing out our starters, maxing out our extenders, making sure that we see the right ratio. On top of these Resonators, we also are running the minimum count of the other important ones, such as 2 Vision Resonator, 1 Synchron Resonator, and 1 Crimson Resonator. These cards are exceptionally powerful and important for our combos. And the reason for all these copies of our 1-card starter is of course for the non-tuners. We have Bone Archfiend, which is incredibly powerful and important for all our lines, as well as one of the new card, Red Lotus King Fire Flame Dude. This card is actually very cool and important. Not only can you special out very easily whenever you have these Resonators on field, when it's used as synchro material, it gets to dump any normal trap card, and this just means a whole plethora of options available to us. But the one we're running for today is Red Rain. Red Rain is an incredibly powerful card. Not only is it disruption, but it's repeatable disruption. Every time you synchro, you can fetch it back from your graveyard, so every turn you just get to repeat it over and over again. And to round off the kind of RDA engine, we do have the 1 Uvu Loop as well as the 1 Red Zone. These 2 are incredibly powerful because every turn they just let you rebuild your board every time your opponent gets rid of it. And moving on, we of course have the Centurion cards, which is 3 Field Spell plus the 1 Terraforming, 3 Oath, as well as 1 Trudea, 1 Primera, 1 Wake Up, as well as 1 Phalanx. I want to get into a lot more of why these cards are important, why they're so powerful. But before we get into that, I'll just quickly show off the rest of the list. 3 Cross Up plus Called By, plus 2 of every popular hand trap. I think this was just a good placeholder in such a format such as this one, where Snake Eye is basically on all of these, plus more. So we're just doing this for coverage, and of course they have applications to other matchups. And while I talk about this, I'm actually going to talk about the extra deck real quick. 3 Red Rising. The reason I'm playing 3 while some people out there are playing 2 is 1 for your main combo, 2 when you hit to push through hand traps, and 3 for future turns when you try to kill your opponent. 1 Scarred Red plus 2 regular RDA. The reason for this ratio is this doesn't have to be a synchro summon copy to keep pulling out extra copies of RDA. So whether you reborn this from your graveyard or banish pile, you can still keep getting access to these from your extra deck. 1 Cobalt for OT King and clearing boards. Abyss as one of your interaction pieces. Bane because this card's very good. This Pattern because this card's also very good. We are of course on the payoff for Centurion, which is the Crimson Dragon into Calamity. We also happen to be on Red Supernova because not only can you get it off of Crimson Dragon, you can also make it with the RDA cards. And I realize my cameraman doesn't have much space, so I'll just put these over here. 1 Oxilla and 1 Legatia when all your stuff gets stopped, so you have to use something like this to try and buy a turn. And this card is obviously the most important one because it bridges the 2 archetypes together. Now the reason why I play this engine is because of all the things that it can offer. I actually wrote a bunch of things down because my brain gets a little ishy if I don't explain everything I wanted to explain in the video. So the big payoff here is obviously Oxilla. This deck only can make Dark Dragon synchros really on your turn, so you need to find the best Dark Dragon synchros with good payoffs, and this is the best one because this makes Calamity. It also protects your face-up spells and traps. It's meant to protect mainly your field spell, but it protects your Crimson Gaia and your Red Zone, which is incredibly important. And you can also, under certain situations, if you get Nibiru'd really early, you can turn the token into the Oxilla to finish your combo because this thing is generic. So the fact that you can do that is incredibly powerful. Some other cool synergies is when you use Red Rain, it makes your highest level monsters unaffected by your other card effects while everything else gets banished. And keep in mind, you're running level 12s unlike every other deck in the format. Even Yugioh at most is putting up level 10s and 11s. Your Crimson Dragon or your Calamity and your Auxilla are going to be left standing and immune. And the cool thing is, if you use Red Rain while Crimson Dragon's up, that means your opponent can't really Imperm or Chalice it after either because it becomes immune. Meanwhile, we have cards like Phalanx. This card has a lot of applications, so it disrupts your opponent, it provides a banish card for Dispatter, It also helps you play around Nibiru, which I will be talking about in a combo video that I'll be posting on Spango's channel, so make sure to check that out. I'll leave a description, or I'll leave a link for it somewhere in the description. It also lets you play around board breakers because your opponent may actually try and remove the Auxilla instead of your Crimson Dragon, because if your Crimson Dragon doesn't have a level 12 to target, you can't make the calamities. But what you can do is Phalanx, just banish your Auxilla, and then your red zone can just summon it right back because it's a Dark Dragon Synchro, and that basically means your opponent wasted a card to try and out your card. And other really cool synergies is having a field spell in RDA is incredibly powerful and useful because Stone Sweeper is normally just a searcher for resonators, but when you have a field spell, you can just special this from hand, so it's a free level 5 extender when you have the field spell up. On later turns like turn 3, having this field spell isn't as important, so having an extra card on the field that you can send for Bone Archfiend for follow-up plays is also really important. And the discard off of the field spell itself is also like quite useful when you need to get Vision Resonator into grave so you can get into Crimson Guy and start your combo. Auxilla is also really powerful in terms of its end phase effect because it keeps putting either Trudeau or Primera back into your spell and trap card zone, and that makes it so that you have extra bodies for your combos later on. Like on turn 3, it makes you less reliant on resolving Crimson Gaia and Bone Archfiend to help with DK. You might notice I'm not playing some cards like the Supe Engine or Prosperity. The reason I'm not playing Prosperity is because playing this list was a little last minute and I didn't figure out what cards I'm supposed to banish off Prosperity, so it was too much thinking for myself, so I just removed it from the list. And the Supe Engine, I just don't think it's that important in the Centur-ion version. Oh, and real quick for the side deck, I almost forgot to show this off because I was ashamed. This card is exceptionally powerful because your bodies are so big and Bone Archfiend can turn it off whenever you want. The reason you run this even though you're running Calamity is you're not guaranteed to resolve Calamity every single game because so many board breakers and hand traps are in this format from Tenpai and Snake Eyes. I assume that eventually at a certain point I have to turn my brain off and flip this over instead of anything else. The other cards I was on was actually 3 Thrust. The reason I don't have them with me right now is because I was borrowing Ulti Thrust from a friend and I signed a liability waiver to return them back as soon as possible. Rightfully so, because I know I can't pay them back if I damage them. So after that, we were on 3 evenly just because I still want to see this card. I think it's a good card this format. Other thrust targets was the 1 Tact, the 1 Dark Ruler, the 1 Duster, and we're on 1 D-Beer because not only is it fetchable off of thrust, it's also a good crossout target because our deck is just synchros. We're also on 1 Rise to Full Heights. This is also one of those cards that work really well with Crimson Lotus card because you just dump it into grave and you have a chance to survive against Tenpai. Tenpai, I assume, would have the most hand traps and board breakers, which is why I'm like, I can't actually go into games under the assumption I'm gonna resolve the Calamity lock. I actually need like a backup plan like this card. It's also just one of those cards that like work off of thrust, so it just had the multi-purpose in getting to it. Another card I would like highly recommend is Black Goat's Laugh if you have access to it. And we're also on 1 Cosmo Blazer just because there are matchups in the format where the Calamity isn't as useful, so shockingly. You know, there are decks that just set 4 or 5 trap cards like Labyrinth or Paleo and stuff like that, and at that point I might as well set up Blazer and Abyss instead, where those just chew through interaction each turn, so I prefer this as a alternate win condition into those matchups. That's just about the entire list. I had a lot of fun playing this. We're gonna be putting up a combo video up on Spango's channel. Again, the link is gonna be somewhere and we're gonna dive into a lot more synergies and why these engines work so well together. But thank you guys so much for watching.